Hello friends, I have a couple boxes today from Cloth and Paper. So this is the delivered in June. It is the July subscription box. You can start with it anytime, but any dated materials in here will be starting in August. So Cloth and Paper stays a bit ahead of what you need. You're going to get it earlier than some of your other subscriptions as far as you're receiving in June and August dating card. I'm going to jump in and show you what I'm talking about here. So this is the box. It comes in the white box, and this particular box has a red label on it. Okay, so again, this is the anniversary box for the June subscription. It ships in June, and I believe they're still open for a few more days as the time I made this video. If you wanted to order an extra box, you could. I did pick up 2 subscriptions this month. I have the Hlaf Letter, and I also have the HP Classic. So I picked up the 8-disc and the 9-disc versions, and we're gonna jump in. We're gonna take a look and see what's going on in here. So this is a members only theme. The entire box is themed out in red, black, and white with some gray accents. So we're gonna take a look here. You have your members only card, and it has on the back side of it the reveal of everything that's in the box. And you also have your August dated card. You have 4 sheets of stickers. There are 2 sheets of time bound and 2 sheets of checklists. So here you have a beige off-white color, and you have a gray off-white. So you have a warm and a cool version of these, and these do start at 6 a.m. and go to 8 p.m. or the opposite. You could start them at 6 p.m. and go to 8 p.m. depending on what your shift is. It is a long strip, but you can cut those apart and make them usable for your planner for what you do. These are a thicker sticker in that it's closer to a cardstock weight than it is a paper weight, so just be aware of that going in. You also have 2 sheets of checklist stickers as well. So these checklist stickers are in those same warm and cool tones. There are 7 circles for you to check stuff off on each side, so you could set it up as a weekly checklist, or you could just use it however you need to. Again, these are paper, a heavy paper closer to a cardstock, and you could cut these and trim these. So if you wanted to do 3 and 4, if you want to do 2, 2, 3, or whatever you need to do, a little pair of scissors or a little craft blade on that would make those very adaptable to your needs. All right, keeping going here in this package, we do have the stickers here. These are the flag set. They are like a PET. You would have to use a permanent pen or marker on them. And you have this light gray tone and the spots and dots here, and then you do have a solid red as well. So again, it's sticking in this red, black, white, and this very cool gray tone. And it is not very dark as far as the shading on that. It's closer to a translucent than it is to a gray, but when it overlaps, you do pick up that gray tone on there. So you have those. You also have your members only card. This is a journaling card. It is, you can use it. It's got some journal prompts on here. It is blank on the back. You could journal on the back. You could hole punch it and use it as a page marker. all different kinds of things you could do with this, or you could just use it as a layering card. You could stick it in a journal, all different options there. You also have a dashboard set that is themed for the month. This dashboard set is an acetate overlay that has the white inking on it that says "For Your Eye Only." And you do have a behind the scenes dashboard. This has great journaling prompts up here on goal setting, what have you accomplished, celebrating wins, things like that. If this is not your aesthetic here, you could very easily journal over it, in that you could, or junk journal over it. You could put a picture here, you could put other images or other stickers. So if this empty museum chair is not your vibe, not a problem. Lots of things you can do this. This is a great weight of a cardstock here, so it could handle a lot of different mediums being put on it. You also have the back side that is blank. If you have your goal setting here, you could put your why on the front. You could do a vision board on the back and just really personalize that and set it up. The red acetate does create a little bit of a masking. You can still read through it, but it just kind of shadows it and makes it a little bit harder. Somebody would have to be really intentional about trying to see what you have written behind it. So just a great masking tool on there. You could use them separately, or you could use them together, whatever meets your needs as you go through this month. All right, in addition to it, because this is the anniversary, they kind of went all out, and they're setting you up for all the things that you need to begin the process, or to start the process, or to reset. And it is a sneak peek, I believe, at their 2006 layouts that they have coming. So this is an undated set of layouts, and we'll flip through that here really quick, and then we'll take a look at it. I believe it's identical in the HP Classic size and the 9-disc size, and so we'll take a quick flip through it. You have a cloth and paper, and it says reserved entry on the cover here. It is a cloth cover. It has an elastic band on here. And then this is the 8-disc Hlaf Letter size. So this is a great way to try out a new size. If you're not really sure about planning or what's going to work for you, this is a great way to test out some different things, because you have the sampler set of inserts. It comes with a cover. You do get a set of dividers. You get a dashboard here. You get several of the pieces all in one to kind of put together and play with it. I'm going to grab a set of discs real quick. And we'll kind of put this together and see what's going on here. We have the cover. I'm going to snap the cover on real quick. All right, so I really like disc bound. I do have some ring bound and some hard bound planners and notebooks and stuff. Disc bound is one of my favorites because it's so easy to move things around in it. So here's our discs. I'm going to go ahead and pop this dashboard in, and this acetate here at the front. All right, we have a set of 12, and these are that cool gray, almost white vellum with the red foil months stamped on it. So you have all 12 months here, January through December. I'm going to split these into 3s. It's a nice thick vellum. I don't know that I've ever seen a cardstock weight vellum before, but that is what I would call this. I would call this a cardstock weight. Vellums are awesome because they have a level of translucency to them where you can view items through them without it being completely hidden, but at the same time it does mask it a little bit. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to pop this off. I'm going to put it behind the January. And there you can see you get a shadowed or a masked version of that image without it being completely blacked out. So you could put words or phrases behind it. You could put your calendar behind it, and you could kind of have a masked view of your monthly calendar. Lots of options in there. And so vellum, it's also light. That's the other thing, is it gives you the structure of tabs without the weight of cardboard or something heavier being in here. So that nice light vellum gives you a good foundation and a good base for working with this. So let's take a look at the inserts. And there are several different inserts in here. We're going to start with, my dog's barking. Sorry about that. They're very excited about something happening. So here is the daily. The daily has a time-bound or time blocking schedule here on the right. You have a blank here at the top. You have some lined notes here, and then you have like a checklist type of situation. You have a line and then a little box. So you could use this several different ways. You could use it as a checklist. You could use icons or indicators for what you have going on over here. All different kinds of options. It's undated. It is front and back. So you have one day on the front and you have another day on the back. So it's 2 days per sheet. You get 7 sheets. So you get 14 days. So you get 2 full weeks, or if you're working on a 5-day week, you get about 3 weeks worth of dailies on there. So that's just kind of use that as you would think. Very handy, very easy to work with. If you're not using a time-bound schedule, you could easily cover those up with like a dot or a checkbox or something like that with some other stickers. Definitely some easy things you can do with those. So that is the dailies. You do get 14 days, or you get 7 two-sided sheets is what you're looking at there. So lots of options, lots of ways of using those. I use dailies occasionally. The majority of the time I work off of a weekly schedule, or a monthly schedule, but I pull dailies as I need them. Most of the time during the summer, I work exclusively with a monthly calendar and a daily sheet. And then when I get into, because my work weeks look a little different during the summer, so weekly isn't as conducive to my productivity as a daily sheet is. During the fall and winter and spring, I am more functioning on a weekly based schedule. So those are the dailies. Again, you do get 7 two-sided sheets, so you get 14 days worth of daily sheets on there. The next set of inserts we have is a horizontal weekly. And here you have Monday through Friday on one side, you have Saturday, Sunday on the other. You have some checklists and then some blank lined areas over here as well. There is no header on them, so you can put whatever header in as you need. You do have a space here at the top for month and week of. You can go in and date those. The great thing about this is very small on the dating side, easy to cover up if you needed to change the dating on here. So if you wanted Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday to start your week, you could put Sunday over here. and then just change your days as you go through, or whatever you needed to do on that. Super easy to date the days of the week on here. And you get 3 of those. So you get 3 full sets of those with a note page at the beginning and a note page at the back. So your note page is a leader page, is a note page, and your ending page is a note page as well. All right, so then let's keep going and let's look at the next set. So you get 3 weeks of the horizontal daily. And then your next set comes also with a notes page as a leader. And then you have what is like a dashboard type of setup, or a quad setup. So this is 4 blocks, 4 sections on each page. It does start with Monday and it goes horizontally across. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here, with a checklist or a task list up here in the corner. You could rearrange this however you needed to. Again, very simply, you could put like for me during the summer, I have Friday, Saturday, Sundays are blocked together. So I could change this to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then put my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday over here. So I would have my days that are blocked together on this side and my other group of days that are blocked together over here. Very simple, very easy to cover these up. Something as simple as a whiteout runner. Looks just like this. It's just whiteout tape. You could come in, white out that day, make it whatever you need to do. And then you could handwrite over it, or you could get stickers for relabeling that. You get 3 weeks of the quad layout, or the dash, some people call it a dashboard layout, just depending on what your familiarity is with those. So the next set that's coming in also begins with a notes page and ends with a notes page as well. This is a vertical with time bound at the bottom, notes or checklist information at the top. You do have your days of the week. This does go horizontally: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, very easy to change your start date if you need to, or to change how you block those out. You do have 2 smaller sections over here for keeping notes in it. And you could do whatever you need to here. You've got a big open space here at the top. If you wanted to put priorities or a focus or a quote of the day, you could do that as well. You do get 3 weeks of those. And then it does end with a note sheet. So let me a real quick word about the note sheet. This is a sample pack. So you're getting about 3 weeks out of each different setup. The great thing about this, having a note sheet on the starting page and a note sheet on the end page, you can actually take notes and say, this is what worked for me, this isn't what worked for me, I liked this because, I didn't like this because. On the front page you could put your expectations. Hey, this is what I'm expecting to do with this, this is how I expect it to work for me. And then on the back you could put your results and how things worked out. This is very good timing wise, because you have several months here before the start of the new year, before you start looking at 2026. You have these samples to play with and to see what's going to work and what's not going to work for you. I will say this, I do change planner layouts throughout the year because not everything works all of the time. So what works for me in June, July, and August looks very different from what works for me in December, January, February, or November, December, January. And it may just be November and December. It may just be June and July that I have a different kind of schedule going on. So my ability to change and to be flexible is one of the things I love about using a disc bound or a ring bound system, because I can change things out as I need to. So let's take a look at this next set of inserts. This next set of inserts is also this is a 2-sided. So let me go here. This might be more of a traditional dashboard of what you're looking at, being able to put notes and do personalization on one side. Here you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next week all on one side. So you have a very small amount of space. So when you look at the amount of space on this one as compared to the amount of space that you have here on the horizontal layout, that's a big difference. So here you're fitting your entire week in the space of about 3 days on this layout. So keep those things in mind. When you're looking at big picture things and you don't have a lot of small tasks, something like this might be more effective. If you're looking at being able to do task lists and journaling, or the way this is divided up, you could have work and you could have home, or you could have personal and you could have your kids, or you could have all different kinds of things happening here. There's not as much space for that in this particular layout. You do have a habit tracker down here that has several habits that you could put in place. This is what your focus is. Here's your 7 days of the week. You also have a task list and a checklist over here. And then you have a full blank page on this side. So you have lots of room to customize this and make this something else. So depending on if you're looking at your week in a macro setting, you might use something like this. If you're looking at your week and your days in a micro setting, you might use something more along this format. So you just kind of have to go with what's working for you at the time and move forward from there. So the last set that we have also begins and ends with a note page. And this is broken down into tasks. So here you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and your Saturday, Sunday are blocked over here. So if you are just using this for work, for your Monday through Friday, you could white this out over here and just use this as a big notes section, or you could retitle these areas and use it for something else and not even have Saturday, Sunday on here. Not everybody has a Monday through Friday work week, so if you are a Tuesday through Saturday, you could just redate this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you would have your Sunday, Monday, or your open space over here. The great thing about these being undated, they're super easy to change. Even if they were dated, it's not that hard to redate something. You can get a redating kit from several different companies, and they come with the stickers that have your monthly, and they have your daily, and they have your dates, your numbering system, and all of that stuff in it for you. They have header boxes, a lot of things like that for you to do. This is a productivity layout is what I would call this, because you have your priorities, your to-do list, you have extra space, and then you have notes down here. So this is like very task oriented on here, whereas this one is time oriented. So this is task focused, this is time focused, this is more a division of work. You have different things happening here. So you have different things that make you focus on this. This is big spaces that you're working with on this one. And then you have the smaller, view of things here. And then you have your personal workspace and notes on that. So it just depends on what you need. And you may need different things for different times. You may need different layouts for different aspects of your life. You may need one type of layout for work, another type of layout for home. You may want a layout like this for doing journaling and note-taking, or gratitude, or your faith-based stuff. And so you may end up with more than one layout in your planner and what works for you, but you just have to figure that out. There are a lot of people who don't carry an entire year's worth of planning with them. They just carry 2 or 3 months at a time. Some people I know only have 1 month at a time in their planner, and they work 1 month as they go through. So you just kind of have to figure out what's going to work for you. This sampler set is fantastic for you to play with and for you to be able to migrate and move through different types of workloads and how things are going to work on different days or for different weeks on your schedule. So I did get this same layout, and here's all of the goodies, the same goodies I already showed you over here. In the classic 7-disc side. So here's the pen. The pen is amazing. I've been using the pen, this pen that came with it, and these are two of the exact same thing, for the last 24 hours while I'm working on a project, and it has been fantastic. I really have liked how smoothly it writes. I've liked the weight of the pen. It is a black gel Zebra G750. It is, I believe, brass. It's heavy weighted, but it's not too heavy, and I've really found it to help me with what I've been doing and working on. So here is the exact same thing, just in the 7x9 size, whereas this is the 5x8. So it's a little bit smaller. So as you can see them next to each other, there's not a huge difference in it as far as that goes. What it does make a difference in is how much space do you need to write. There's significantly more space on the 7x9 when it comes to writing. And I think this is why so many people end up with more than one journal, more than one planner, because they need a different amount of space for different things that they're doing. So you can see here, these are the two different sizes that I have. And this is probably the largest, and then this is kind of maybe the third largest. I think there's one that's slightly bigger than this, but they're really close. There's 2 or 3 sizes that are really close to each other, like less than ½ an inch difference in how the measurements go. Some of them are ring bound instead of disc bound, but you'll have to jump onto the Cloth and Paper website to see what the size difference is and which ones are ring bound and which ones are disc bound. They have, under the Learn tab, they have an explanation of sizes and an example of what they look like, and so you can see how those look compared to each other on there. So I do have this exact same setup. I do have the sample pack in both the junior and in, or I say junior, some people call this junior, some people call it Hlaf Letter. It's really close to the same thing as an A5, or excuse me, A5, B5, I believe B5. A5. I was right the first time. This is really close to A5 on that, and so you get a good feel for what the size. So when I call this Hlaf Letter, so this is a regular piece of paper. This is what I love about disc bound, the ability to just pull things out and move them. This is half a sheet of traditional copy paper. So this is a letter size sheet of paper. This is half of a letter size sheet of paper. And the 9 disc is a little bit smaller than that. So here you can see the edge on there and the difference that that makes. So you have, these are the 2 of the larger sizes available from Cloth and Paper, and you can kind of see what those look like. You have your 9 disc and your 8 disc. So this is 1 disc smaller than what this is. The samples that came in it. There's also the dashboard there, the cover, and the set of vellum dividers, plus all of the little accessories that were in the box, the pens, the stickers, the sticky notes, all of that kind of stuff are in there as well. And so you can put together a very nice little notebook with all of the things that they send you. So let's just kind of pop in. Here's another great thing about disc bound is when you flip the cover over, it lays flat. It can take up half the space on your desk as a fully open. All right, so let's take a look at some of these. And let me show you some things you can do to make these a part of your process. So if you want to take all of these little things with you, you do have a couple options. Looking for my red envelope. The little red file folder like this one here. Okay, so we'll just, I'll just talk you through this one really quick. I won't do anything to it. Okay, so you could take this, you could punch this on this edge here and stick it in, and it would take about 6 discs. So you could punch it right in the middle if you wanted to, or you could punch it to the top or to the bottom. It really wouldn't matter on there. That would give you a place to tuck things in as you work with the different little items that came in there. You could do that. If I could find both of them, I would punch one and show you what that looks like, but I don't want to. I save these and use these. I put these in a 4x6 card, index card box, and I keep things in them like little file folders, so I don't want to use the only one I can find right now to do that. But let me pull a punch out. All right, so this little journaling card, so I just popped some punches in on that, and I can slide it in here. Just like that. If I wanted to, I could have laminated this before putting it in and used it as a dry erase or wet erase little dashboard. Same thing here on the little members only card. You can punch it and stick it in as a layer, or you could punch it, what I call, you could do a high punch on it, which means a tab of it would stick up over the top. And you could use it as a page finder to mark your spot and find where you're at. So there it is, sticking out just a little bit, and I could use that as a quick grab to turn to a place in my planner there. Same thing with this. You have lots of extra space here on this top edge, and you can take it pop it in for a punch as well. And now your flags are ready to travel with you. And then on these, I would punch these a little differently. I would actually punch them this way so that they sat on 2 discs, and I could put several of them in like this in one spot. So I could go to anywhere I wanted to in here. My vellum's curling a little bit, just putting a heavy weight on that, like an old dictionary or a book, or just being in here with different papers and stuff like that, and keeping it closed will eventually help that to lay down as well. So I put all of these in here together. However, if I was actually using these stickers at this time, if I was using them, I will actually end up using them. But when I'm needing them functionally, because those are time-bound stickers, I would actually move them to a place where I would use them. So in this particular, looking for the layout here, I might move a set of these time-bound stickers in here, and I would be able to use them if I wanted to turn this into a time blocking area, or I could move them to different layouts just by popping them out and moving them where I want them. Same thing about the checklist. If I wanted the checklist to be able to go in a certain area, if I wanted to turn each of these into a checklist, I would just move these into that area, and then I would have my checklist ready to go as I'm working in that particular spot. So that gives you a quick little look-see at what you can do with those on that. Same thing with your little envelope. If you wanted to, you could punch this end of it and put it in, and then you would have a quick little tuck in here. You could punch it from the side and it would stick out like a tab on this end in this particular size. In the larger one, it would not stick out. It would just be in there. You could leave the flap up as a marker, whatever you needed to do for that. On there, you could punch it from this end. It would be difficult to get in and out of. You would have to pop it out in order to get in and out of the envelope, but you could use this directly in your planner depending on how you punch it and where you move it around. This would also give you a place to tuck all those things in that we just punched. So if you wanted all of these items here to be secured, you could put them back in here and then have that punch edge there and hold it together. Just be careful that as you're moving this in and out, if you're punched on this end here, it may not go all the way back in. It may stick out a little bit, which means your envelope would stay open, or you would need to cut the top off or fold it differently on this particular piece. But these smaller pieces would not be affected by that, and you would still have a nice little closure in there for those. So this is a quick look through the June intention box, or July intention box that ships in June for cloth and paper. Again, it does have an August card in it, so it is forward thinking. This is the only dated item in the box. Everything else that comes in the intention box has been undated in this particular set. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and be sure to ring the notification bell so you can find out when more videos like this are coming out. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Pinterest and Facebook, as well as Instagram, and here on YouTube at Gadget Girl TX, and I hope to see you in the next video.